Hey, Christina, how's it going?
Good. How's it going, Leanne?
Good, good. So we just recorded a podcast all about being an advocate for your own health, and something came up in that episode about carnivore, and I just wanted to delve into that a little bit deeper. We were chatting about elimination diets, so maybe we'll start off with autoimmunity elimination diets, and then kind of transition into what we think would be a better way to carnivore.
Okay, bear with us. Like done. So Autoimmune Protocol is AIP, which is autoimmune paleo too. Can kind of go as that. Pretty much known as the gold standard of elimination diets. It eliminates foods that permeate the gut lining, that irritate the gut, that have high levels of anti-nutrients, which anti-nutrients are pretty much like all nature, right? All plant, everything in nature, everything alive wants to survive. It wants to thrive. Like seeds want to grow. So if you eat a seed in nature, the deer eats a seed and then it poops out the seed and the seed still grows. That's like the seed being not like digestible, and that's its anti-nutrients protecting it. So nature goes on, right? There's always a way. So that's just it. All plants have this. They want to survive. They have mild toxins or irritants or just things that make them survive digestion or heat or whatever. And so when we eat plants like vegetables and nuts and seeds and coconut, we have to deal with these anti-nutrients. And some plants like nightshades, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, peppers have higher levels of anti-nutrients, right? That's why peppers are hot, like hot peppers, and also like tomatoes, you can make pesticide from the leaves. And anything down to cabbage and broccoli and, very common veggies. So the autoimmune protocol eliminates the ones that are like the most likely to affect you, right? You eliminate eggs, nuts, seeds, grains, any kind of dairy, any kind of sweetener except for like honey. So it's not a low carb diet whatsoever, but as Leon knows, I've kind of done an AIP keto mashup because that's what works best for me. So you eliminate all these foods for like at least 30 days. You eat a lot of animal protein, you integrate organ meat because it's not just about what you don't eat, but it's about what you do eat, because nutrient density, people. And when your body has been crippled for so long, you're often like, even if you're overweight, you're actually still starving because you're not absorbing nutrients properly. And that also goes into like feeling hungry all the time. So you do this elimination diet, and then starts the magic. Once you start feeling better, your inflammation's down, your symptoms subside, you add foods in one at a time.
Repeat
And I will
that.
repeat this
What
again.
was that? Can you say that again?
One at a time. So you do it one, you eat a small portion. The next day you eat a bigger portion. The third day you eat a full, like big portion of whatever that food is, right? Like, so 1 egg, 2 eggs, 4 eggs. Then you wait 72 hours because autoimmune responses can take up to 72 hours to manifest. If it's all clear, you move on to the next food. And you do this with every seed, every spice, every nut. It takes a long time, but it's the only way to really know what foods are causing inflammation in your body. And like for me, I learned that a lot of different nuts. I learned that butter and ghee, even though they don't cause digestive distress, I get like a weird flaky thing going on my forehead. It's the only symptom that arises from ghee and butter. But hey, I would not have known that if I didn't do the reintroductions one at a time. And this takes a long time, but it is the most informative thing you can do for your body. If you are dealing with reactions to food, this is even better than blood tests. So yeah, I think the AIP is a really good way to figure out what food works for you.
Okay, so many things. And I see it being kind of like a two-pronged conversation. One is quality, and the other is that reintroduction and watching for the signs and adding back the food. So maybe we'll look at quality first. So I'm seeing a lot of people that are eating carnivore, just like pound steak.
No. Sorry.
And
So
bacon.
Right. So the thing is that when you're doing any kind of elimination protocol, anything that your diet's extremely restricted, you have to focus on nutrient density, because there's vitamins and minerals that our body needs to survive. And people are having weird things like rashes and their hair's falling out and they're feeling fatigued and like their nails are brittle and whatever. That's because your body doesn't have, it's like literally going into survival mode. So you have to be eating really focused, I think, on quality protein. and diversify, like not just beef and bacon. You need seafood, like seafood especially. Like you need to be eating salmon, like good fatty fish. Mussels are great because they're technically like organ meat because they're like the whole little animal. You need to be eating some kind of organ meat, like liver, heart, kidneys. I don't care what you find, how you do it. If you mash it up, you take it in pills. I don't give you have to hold your nose, but if you are, pate is such a great way.
Oh.
Like,
Mhm.
it's delicious. And you
Yeah,
can do it on pork rinds and that's carnivore. And
totally.
so you have to be getting organ meat like at least once a week. And so I think a lot of people are doing this. And what happens is that when you see the influencers out there, or like the keto experts that are doing carnivore, they're doing the fish, they're doing raw fish, they're doing, sashimi and tartare, and they're doing organ meat, and they're doing quality proteins. And then you see people trying to be like, oh, I'm going to try that too. But they're going to like In and Out and getting like burgers with cheese. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it can't be your only source of food.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that can be dangerous. And then what's going to happen, you're going to go from eating like burgers all the time, and you're going to be like, oh, I feel better because you're not ingesting gluten, or you're not ingesting nightshades, or you're not ingesting dairy, or whatever, something that was making you react. But then you go back to eating the way you were before, and you're like, oh, I feel awful. I'm bloated. Carnivore is the only way to go. Boneless cheeseburgers for life. And that's just because you didn't do your reintroductions properly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that we touched on this topic because I see this over and over and over and over. And one of my friends just went off of carnivore after 30 days and just started eating normal again, got really bloated, gassy, not feeling good, and now is back on carnivore. And it's so so if we're in that space and we're like, we want to give carnivore a try, and fair enough, I tried it for a day and I couldn't do it because I really wanted parsley and also a salad. So doesn't work for me right now anyway. And so say we want to give this carnivore thing a try. So we start eating more organ meats, raw fish, and all the things. And then 30 days are up, reintroduction happens. What sorts of foods should we like? Are there foods we should reintroduce first?
Yeah,
Does it
I
matter?
think there are definitely foods that are least likely to make you react, like avocado, right? And
Mhm.
that's a really good reintroduction, especially if you're keto, because you're getting in your potassium, you're getting in some good fats, right? Next thing I would reintroduce is maybe like a vegetable that could maybe make you bloated, but it's also really versatile and useful, like cauliflower or broccoli.
Mm.
um, and go to cabbage and greens and things like that, which are going to be, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, right? You're
Mm.
probably going to still feel really good, adds a lot of good nutrition, fiber, all that. And then you can kind of trickle down to like less essential things like nuts and seeds and coconut and things like that. And then maybe sweeteners. That's another thing. Like for me, I just was not using Swerve. I mean, for a while, because during the move, the only thing I had with me was the stevia glycerite
Mm.
from the Now, which is I learned that from you. The Now Food stevia glycerite is so
Isn't
good.
it awesome?
It's awesome. Yeah,
Like, oh,
I know. I like don't want to use anything else. So, but I'm like I use Swerve a lot in baking because it performs really well.
mhm.
So I got back to my house. I got my pantry staples. Finally, they came like with the move, and I made my avocado brownies with the Swerve. And oh my gosh, I got so bloated. And yeah, it was.
Oh,
I
I
know.
can't do lots of Swerve anymore either. I get the worst acne right along my chin.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, and it was sad. I mean, I made another thing with like the Anthony's Goods erythritol, and it was a
mhm.
little better. So it might be what is it? I can't say it. Glycerides, I think that's in the store. Maybe
Oligosaccharides?
those things. I think that could be maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
amazing.
that could be what maybe was causing the bloating. But yeah, like those are weird random things that like elimination diets are crazy and
Yeah.
crazy informative. Like I know it can be scary, but man, you really want to drill down what's causing those symptoms. You got to add those things one at a time.
And what sort of symptoms are we looking for? Like you talked about you got a dry patch when you ate ghee. I get acne. My biggest thing is acne and inflammation of my fingers.
Yes, swollen joints and fingers. So for
Oh,
me, like phase one is always my fingers. Like they instantly swell and then I start feeling like really stiff.
yeah.
Bloating, like I'm pretty, like one of the great things about keto, you don't retain water. And so you're kind of like, you feel limber a lot. You don't get that super bloaty feeling. Even when I do carb ups, I don't feel bloated anymore. And
Mhm.
so when I do get that like heavy bloat in my midsection and like, oh, or if I get constipated, because I don't, like I'm not, like I'm very regular, that's a number one sign, like, okay, something's not like right. And anything from burping a lot. If you're eating and after your meals, you're constantly burping or you're getting some acid reflux, like that's not a good sign. Like think about it this way. Food should make you feel awesome. Like really all the time. Like if food is serving you, you should eat it and feel really good. Like no headache, you're not tired afterwards. You're not having like any kind of digestive discomfort. And then of course, brain fog, fatigue, any sort of skin reaction, like if you eat something that you normally don't eat and within, I would say 48 hours have any sort of skin abnormality, I guarantee you it's related to something you ate. So just, they can be like super subtle, but it happens. It manifests crazy.
That's amazing. Well,
stuffy nose.
Oh yeah, duh. Yeah, and postnasal drip. Like
Postnasal drip's a huge one. Yeah. Yep.
Amazing, Cristina. Thanks so much for sharing your brilliance with all of us. And I hope that people that maybe want to go carnivore or are carnivore will like hear something that we said and perhaps adjust the way that they're doing things. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.